Jeff Steffens here. I'm so thankful that he's able to be here with us today. He's a very busy guy, but I was able to luckily get on a schedule. Jeff, if you could do me a favor to kick things off, just tell us a little bit about you and then a quick blurb about LIO Insurance.
Sure. Great to be here, Dean. Good to see you again. So I've been in the consulting business largely. If you look at my history, 20 plus years consulting across business and strategy consulting. I kind of find myself in the middle, specifically around how do we build new strategies and really pivot, helping organizations pivot. It demands, new resource, new talent, new thinking, a lot of newness to a company. So through those 20 plus years of consulting, I've spent a lot of time not only bringing people to bear, contractors, consultants, grow a business in new areas, but also helping them hire people too. So I have quite a bit of experience, and that's where Dean and I connected many years ago. So LIO Insurance started, it'll be coming on 4 years in July of 24. We started a carrier from the ground up. It was greenfield. We had some licenses. I was brought in as CIO, so this is my opportunity to build and stay with something versus consulting with large organizations for a few years. We are growing very rapidly. We started with 4 people in July of 2020. We're now at 65 to 70 people at this point, and we've hit 100 million in gross written premium already. Awesome. So it's been a very aggressive 3.5 years for us.
That's impressive. That's really awesome. What's the value of LIO, right? I mean, there's other folks that are in this space, but what makes us unique?
So a few things. If you look at our website, we make insurance simple. If you're familiar with the insurance industry at all, it is very complicated. It's very hard to understand. There's a lot of rules and state level that you must follow. Our states are protecting their constituents from insurance carriers taking advantage of them. So there are by state rules that we must follow, and those rules change on a basis. So it's just a really complex environment to deal with, make it simple for people to understand that. We have built a platform, and a lot of it is kind of the front end with the back end, all the kind of rules and regulations and underwriting on the back end with how do we deliver an experience that's very simple. So what is normally a 6 to 8 week process, we're doing in 6 minutes on our platform. It is not a portal, it is a form. It is integrated into the back end, and we are doing some very unique things with our broker part to even create new unique ways for them to engage with our platform. Lots of challenges along the way, but we are doing some things that have really never been done in this industry before.
If anybody could do this heavy lift, it would be you, sir. All right, give me some days that you as CIO.
Right now, it's keeping lights on, doors open, which is always, the CIO's role is to make sure that it's available and it is performant, it is secure. Our 9-box framework that measures those core aspects that we care about and monitor on a regular basis. So we have a whole dashboard around what are the priorities and how do we get those priorities through the process into dev and delivered into production. The third bucket is our strategic priorities. So what are we doing next? What new ways of engagement? What new offers in certain markets? A few other foundational kind of heavy things that we need to put in the platforms.
So speaking of what's next, right? And what's the next 12 months to 24 months look like?
We launched as an admitted carrier. We are now going to be a E&S specialty carrier. We have hired 5 people to lead that organization, and we just launched the first product to the market last night at 5 o'clock. And we expect them to grow very aggressively this year. They will probably outpace our admitted business this year as far as growth. There's 3 other products just in the next 3 months that we will be delivering, and then they have the back half of the year probably another 4 products that they're going to bring on. And then on the admitted side, we'll probably do 30 products. We built a platform that allows us, once the foundational elements in that platform are in place, and then we spent all of last year doing that, we can get a product set up within 30 days. So we kind of have a small, medium, large, depending on how complex the product is, and we can do it in 30 to 90 days.
Super cool. I think you mentioned November, let's say November 1, 2020 with 4 people. I think I got a call on November 2nd. You need help in hiring. Let me ask you this. Having known each other for a while, right? What made you initially think of me, and what made you initially think of VANTA Partners as well?
So that's easy. I knew what I was going to get, right? It is experience, it is process, and it is discipline. With anything that we do, it really comes down to discipline. Are they getting up every day and putting in the work? And I know that I could throw anything at you, regardless of the role. And we were kind of put in this box of, oh, he's the IT recruiter for Jeff. But when we needed to grow other parts of the organization, it's not specifically about, oh, well, he doesn't know anything about accounting. How would they recruit accounting? Yet he has a discipline that he's built in his people, in his company. And you can really plug anything into it and drive that discipline out to the best outcome. And you do a really good job of making sure that we can meet in the middle, because it's not one-sided. If it's ever one-sided, it never works out long-term, right? If we get what we want and the candidate has to compromise more than they're willing to, they're generally gone in 6 months. I find that your process and discipline really helps us balance that to ensure that we have longevity with the people that we hire, and we're getting the right people in front of us.
Listen, I'm almost speechless, so thank you very much. Appreciate that. Some of the roles we had successfully filled are Director of IT Ops, Director of Data Privacy and Data Governance, Senior Technical Business Analyst. Those are more so focused tech, right? And then you said the discipline, the process lets us go into other areas. So when we had accounting roles thrown at us, controller we placed, staff accountant, bookkeeper, some of these other business analysts. So I really appreciate you recognizing that even though our lead in is typically technology, because it's a very hard space to recruit in, we can really go anywhere, right? What does your organization need? And we can do our best to fill those roles, right?
And you're not having to refresh with different recruiters on what are the objectives of the organization. So really connecting to what are the objectives of the org, and having a recruiter that can span and understand and explain the objectives and where these roles fit, why they're important, what we've been doing, history of the company, who we are. Understanding our culture, we're very unique. Everyone that is here is probably the strongest team I've ever worked with. So it's a very unique, demanding culture, and you have to understand that to be a good recruiter.
When we first started recruiting for you and Leo, we were recruiting on what they call a contingent basis, right? Hey, Dean, here's the role. It's the Director of IT Ops, for example. Base salary is going to be X amount. When you recruit contingent, you charge us a fee. For VANTA, it's typically a 25% fee with a 90-day guarantee. You quickly ran into, hey, we're going through hyper growth. It might not make financial sense to do all of these on a contingent basis. So we came up with the unique option of Leo doing a prepay, right? Can you walk us through your thought process going from the contingent to then the prepay?
I think it was a very unique approach that worked very well. From your perspective, when you're contingent, you could be grinding away and we could have 6 other recruiting companies working for us on a contingency basis. And it just creates unnecessary noise in the organization. And it's not good for you. And it's really not good for us at the end of the day when you're trying to manage that amount of process and candidates and flow to really get to a place where, hey, we're committing as partners to go get this done. And here's what we need to get done. And you are committing from your side. We're committing from our side. So you can ensure that your team is well motivated, well aligned with what we're trying to accomplish, and you're basically already paid for the work. I think it was a good balance that, we got a discount through the process, and you got a firm commitment that we are going to use you.
Absolutely. The prepay lowers the percentage of fee as a commitment through both of us, and then it also doesn't expire, right? Let's say someone prepays $150,000, we draw down from that, and then at the end of the year, if there's still money in the kitty, it stays there. It doesn't go away. So then you could figure out what the needs are for the following year and pull from there as well. A lot of the prepays from other recruiting agencies, if they do offer it, they vanish into thin air if the money's not spent.
Yeah, and it just makes it easy when we go through the ebbs and flows. If we want to bring in some outside help, we've kind of tapped our referral network, et cetera. It's a simple process. It's people we already know. They're already engaged. It's a phone call and it's done, right? It's just our ability to react very quickly instead of trying to figure out, well, who would we use and how would we select and what is their expertise? And that whole process you go through in making those kinds of decisions just slows it down overall. We like to move very, very fast here at LIO. So it has enabled us to do that. The last one that we just filled on the 8th, what was that, 45-day turnaround? I mean, the second that we're going to fill that role, we just reached out to you and said we need to aggressively pursue and we had someone, that started with us on the 8th of January.
And a geographic limitation on that one as well. They had to be in a specific area. So we didn't have the luxury of pulling from the country, being remote. How likely would you be to recommend our services at VANTA Partners?
Well, I think that's an easy answer. It's very likely if you're a genuine guy that builds a genuine organization based on a foundation of good ethics and morals and how you go about your business. You make it easy, Dean.